Hi folks, I'm going to start this one over here. I haven't made a video in a long time because my health has been rough, and I just found out recently I have degenerative disc disorder and rheumatic arthritis in my spine, and I'd never had anyone tell me in the medical profession ever use the word arthritis before, so it was pretty shocking. But anyway, I've been struggling a lot with pain, with that and other things, and lots of issues. All of a sudden, diabetes is in the spectrum, bad. And I've been, fighting that fight. My A1C was down to 1.6 or 6.1. And been stayed on my diet, no sugar stuff, but I've been eating potatoes and bread, and my A1C level went up to 7.8 this last time, so I'm in crisis mode for that. But anyway, I've been doing stuff on the lathe here in my living room as I can, and because it's been a while, I have some projects that I've worked on. Now, before I start, I wanted to acknowledge a person who was very helpful to me, sent me some really good stuff, a whole box, like, I don't know how many pounds there were, a medium-sized shipping box, UPS shipping box, full of nice chunks of aluminum, round stock, and some steel in there, because I didn't have really any stock to work with. He also made a block for the base of a crimper that I've been trying to make, which turned out that one didn't. It turned out not to work, but it gave me some really good ideas, which I'm working on right now. And there are also a couple other updates I wanted to show you guys that I'm kind of excited about. It's fun. Anyway, here's my latest score. You see this thing? That's the head of one of those lamps that has a round light and a magnifying glass in the middle. I love those things. They're really good. If you guys can afford one, you can buy them new, but they're pretty expensive. If you can afford one, they are just good. Now, I got this whole head rig thing, and it had a bulb. I threw it away because I'm going to use LEDs. They're cheaper, easier, lighter, everything. That's one of the things about this, is that weight is pretty heavy for me, because I'm going to be using it on a light like this, one of these kind of units, beef up the springs. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's one over here too. I got those lights all over the house. I got about 15 of them every time I go to a garage sale. Not this one, the one in the back. Every time I go to a garage sale or Goodwill or a place like that, if they have one for like under $10, and they're almost always under $10, I pick it up. So I got a whole box full of them, and I use them. I use them everywhere. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them right here in the living room set up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 of them in the living room, and more in other places. So they're very handy. And now with the LED bulbs, which are nice and light, you can get good light out of them. So anyway, I'm going to put it on on one of those, and I'm going to populate the inside there with LED lights, strip lights, and make myself a really nice lamp, magnifier lamp from my lathe area, because it'll be nice. Anyway, I also wanted to show, I was talking about the guy that helped me with that stuff. His name is Mark in Montana. He goes by the handle of Clodhopper on cast bullets, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mark, for that stuff. I haven't forgotten you, and I hope you don't feel that I've ignored you. I think about you every time I use some of that stuff, and there's a lot of it to use. Thank you. Also, I made this guy, or I should say I modified my tailstock. Now, I had modified it before, kind of temporarily prototype type kind of thing, and it ended up breaking because it wasn't heavy duty enough. So I made a new one. You see this bottom area in here, this lever's got a little cam that lifts that up, and it tightens up the bottom here. Goes on there, and you can adjust where this ends up getting the tension. Put this around first. So it'll tighten either here or past center, or even tighten from the other side. I like to tighten it from this side though. Anyway, you see this big lump. There's a big steel collar here, and I had to make a little aluminum collar too. I didn't realize it at first, but this angle here, this has got an angle, considerable angle, and it was making me scratch my head a lot because I couldn't get this thing to not bind, and I realized that angle was there. So I just made a spacer with an angle on it, and I screwed it into that, so I have that all set the right way, and it works very, very nicely. This is the handle from an old hacksaw. So that works very nice. I was hoping to make a video on that, and I started making one, starting, with the inside and showing how I went through everything. And I was hurting so bad I had to quit. Anyway, some new upgrades on this thing. Not much upgrade, but put a new button here, blue one. I got 2 buttons for, I think 2 of them for $1.50. And I had cut that hole out because I had a different kind of button in there. So I put a little plate in with screws. You may be able to see those. And it makes it a lot easier to get that in and out in case I need to. But I was thinking, ooh, nice blue light button. But it barely lights up. It does light up a little. You can see it a little bit, but barely. That's probably why they were so cheap. Anyway, of all the stuff I did to this thing, that's different. This is a different pot. Now these pots are very unique to this lathe. Normally pots with an on-off on the end are off on the end, and when you turn them on, they're on. This one is supposed to be on when you turn it off, and then off to the pot when you go, because what it does is it resets that trip it's like a breaker inside the electronics, and it resets it. And I used this when I bought this new one, and instead of clicking when it was bogged down and flipping that breaker, it just kept clicking. I thought, what's that clicking? And it was that breaker resetting, tick, 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 and it burned out my motherboard. I had to replace the motherboard in here for $90. But anyway, now I have that off circuit, taken off of there, and I put a reset switch on it, momentary reset. And I have my up on top there. You can't see that yet. There it is. Up on top there is my RPM wire, comes out here. And I've got the little, what do you call that thing? Pulse detector mounted under here with a magnet on the spindle. So that works real nice. I put this board up here to hang stuff I use a lot, brushes mostly. And what I do is, when I'm running, I'll stick a couple of pieces of this stuff up here. Construction paper. And it keeps the splatter from going all over the place, you know. If I'm doing something that throws oil around, you know, oiling something. And I've got a chunk of stuff that I bought for $5. It's for under your office chair. And most of them, the common ones you see, are for on top of carpets, and they're kind of a hard plastic, but they're flexible. Well, this one's harder plastic, and it's made for a hard floor, and it's thick, hard plastic. It's about 3/16 of an inch or 1/4 inch thick. And I thought, nope, I'm not going to use that because I have hard floors, but because I have swarf all over the floor, and it picks up on my office chair, I'm using a carpet underneath, a chunk of carpet underneath my office chair, so it doesn't, the wheels don't have swarf embedded in them and grind up the floor. So I'm going to cut that thing up and use that heavy clear plastic. I don't know what kind of plastic it is, but it's really hard. It's almost as hard as, it seems like glass. It's so hard, but it's not that hard. But anyway, I can make all kinds of guards and stuff with it, and I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to make a kind of a fold-out guard thing for this, so I can enclose it so swarf doesn't fly all over the place. Now, the project that I'm working on right now is some more machining. And I saw a guy with a unique carriage lock on the internet. I thought, wow, that's something I could probably make if I spent some time on it. This. Basically all it is a C-clamp clamping the carriage down. So obviously it can't go back and forth now. But that's all there is to it. Now this, I took the cross slide off, or this cross slide. So now I have to move the whole carriage in and out to move this, because I made this plinth type thing to hold the work for what you see here. I'm doing is milling with a 1/2 inch end mill. Now, I believe this is for aluminum, this end mill. It was like $2 from China. And you're not supposed to chuck them, but I haven't chucked. There's so many things wrong with this setup. But anyway, that's what you do when you don't have money or tools. I'll show you how I have this rigged up over here. This is bolted through to 2 holes I cut down here that are the same width as these, so I can move this onto this guy if I wanted. But and these 2 are threaded through to hold my work. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting a slot in that chunk of channel iron, and I want it to be flat on the bottom, nice and flat on the bottom. This is going to be the plate, the base plate for 2 rollers, one of which has got a blade on it. I made these rollers. Let me show you a picture of them. I don't know if these are the ones. No, these aren't the ones, but they're like this. 2 rollers. They have little grooves in them for, these are going to roll 22, be in here. And I'm going to roll across the top with a 22 bullet, or 22 round, to push that crimp in there. So basically it's a crimper. And it's a prototype. I'm not sure it's going to work. I've tried several different variations of this thing, and I'm hoping this one will work, because I really need to set this up I bought these blades. These are blades for a tubing cutter. I bought those blades to be the blades for it, and then I made, where did I put those? I wanted to show you that. I made little rollers or mandrels. I don't know what you'd call them, what the right name for them would be. But they're screwed together. Here's one. All right, this has got a blade right there, one of those little tubing cutter blades, and 1 millimeter deep from here. You can see it there. And this is going to be mounted in here with the round, the 22 round right there, to pinch see, this fits in here. And that blade is it's gonna roll on that blade, and that's gonna crimp the very tip of that into the lead. That's the plan. So that's what I'm working on. And I have to make the base plate here for the rollers, which, believe it or not, is going to be pretty complicated because it all has to be adjustable, because I don't know how much room to put between the rollers, the optimum. And it's going to have bearings, ball bearings through the shaft. So anyway, I have to make it very adjustable so I can adjust it to work, basically. Now we come to the time of test. Now, I've done this before, and it's going to make some noise, but I light this guy up to about 1500 RPM. Whoops. Actually, it's better to use the high gear here. Now that end mill in there, the half-inch end mill, it's not quite concentric. It's mounted in there with a little bit of wobble, and that's probably my biggest problem. I'm going to put some cutting juice on there, which I probably shouldn't use, I don't know. Anyway, I just noticed I mounted that thing in the clamp. The end mill's going to hit it. I have to do that. But anyway, I'm taking about, right now I'm taking about I'd say at least 20,000 cut. And it's pretty quiet now. I was making more noise than that when I didn't have that clamp on the carriage. The carriage is pretty good. But it's, boy, I'll tell you, when you run something like this, you'll find out if it's going to shatter. So anyway, there you go. They say, oh, you can't use more than eighth of an inch or a little bigger 3/16 end mill on a mini lathe. Well, we have a half-inch end mill here. Milling. But it's just, it's by no means a milling setup. Everything is bolted and fixed down in order to change it, even to move the depth, even to make it, I got it, even to move the mill, the end mill bit in, I have to unlock the carriage, move it, and then lock the carriage again. Because the only thing that moves on this right now is this way. But it's working. Okay, now I got to the end where I had cut through. Now this is, just to show you, this is going to cut on the full length, thickness of that. When I get it there. And if I continued with that, it would be making a lot of noise. Anyway, here's the spring cut. You can see it's still cutting quite a bit, so there's quite a bit of flex going on there. But I only have about, I don't know, 20, 30 thousandths left to go. So now I gotta change I'm gonna run this without the lock to show you the difference. There's not a lot of difference. All right, now we're gonna go in about, let's see. Yeah, we got about another, at least 20 thousandths there. Alright, we got about 1600 RPM. Now this carriage is not locked. You see there's a little more racket. Of course I'm taking a bigger cut. But it does work. As long as you don't blow up and throw high-speed steel shrapnel in my face. Yeah, that's going pretty good. Alright, I'm almost through, I think. Just a little more. Whoops, I just hit the bolt. Hold down bolt. Well, this is as far in as I could possibly go. As far as in as I need to go. Yeah, I hit the end there, you can tell. More spring cut. There we go. Now, I'll pull that off and show you guys, or maybe I will. It's going to take a while to pull it off because it's all bolted on with bolts that have to be. Now I can pull it off. Where are those wrenches? I guess I don't have the wrenches. Let's see if I can get this one off. No, I got to take the work off before I take the plinth off. So anyway, maybe I can get around here and show you the base of that. Right there, that's where I just milled. And it's flat enough. Got it pretty good. It's not precision, but it'll be good. So anyway, that's what's up with me. Sorry again, I hope to make more videos here soon. See you later.